And the winner is Arctic Monkeys!
That subscriber content, eh? That subscriber content, it just won't go away.
It might hibernate from time to time and sink back into the swamp. I think the cyclical nature of the universe in which it exists demands it adheres to some of its rules.
But it's always waiting there, just around the corner, ready to make its way into your ears and smash through the gated payment system, sounding better than ever.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Benefits such as getting ad-free episodes a week early with pre- and post-show chat relating to the monkeys, last Shadow Puppets episodes, bonus podcasts, watch-alongs, plus helping us improve our sound with better equipment and services.
Yeah, this podcast seems like it's fading away sometimes, but with subscribers, it will never die. Thank you very much for listening. We do truly appreciate it. Don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, we'll invoice you for the subscription if we need to.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude. That manga's yawned. We're gonna call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello and welcome to the 11th instalment in the third series of Don't Believe the Hype, the podcast that's taking a deep dive into the discography of Arctic Monkeys track by track. Eagle-eyed readers will know that last week we finished off the Humbug album, but we have not finished the era. We're well onto the B-sides now. Starting with a light episode tonight, bit of a cover, we'll get into that in a second. With me, Nick, and he's a god, he's a man, he's a ghost, he's a guru. He's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Oh, hello. That was nice. It's true as well. In many ways, I've been described as that many a time.
They're all rooted in truth, these intros, mate.
All rooted in truth. Particularly the guru, I'd say. Yeah, no, I'm good. It's a bit of a strange week, isn't it? Because of the old cover. I was but luckily it's a cover that has a lot of things to sort of talk about. Well, we won't have the usual structure, you know. We don't have a gear section because I couldn't really find any information on it for the gear. We won't really be talking about the lyrics in depth. We have a brief chat on the lyrics, but nothing in depth. Music we can still talk about, obviously, because it's the band's music, band's version of their music. And we got plenty of clips, though, haven't we, to fill the void with.
Lots of clips. We have. So I'll be during the show. I'll be dropping in some of the different cover versions of this song, and I have a very surprising cover version that you don't know about. That I've even on our little console here. I've not even labelled it with the name of the artist like I have with the others, because I want it to be a nice surprise for you, like it was for me. So that's fun.
That's why I use little codes, little lettering codes when I put mine in, so you won't know. If I could hide the image,
then I try and work them out.
I mean, it's not hard to work out, really. I mean, one of them just says what it is on it. That's for the end of the show anyway. So, yes. But we've just done our pre-show chat where we reviewed the Nationals album Boxer, which we reviewed. I won't say what we said because if you want to know, get subscribing and get listening. Next week we're covering.
Where can they find that? How do they subscribe? Where do they go?
They can go on Patreon. Don't Believe the Hype. They can go on.
Find both of them in the episode description.
Or if you don't want that and you just want it straight into your feed, you can go to your Spotify list and you'll see all the locked episodes there. Try and play one and it'll go, Holt, you don't have access to this area. Yeah. And then you have to pay and they'll let you in. Yeah. Hey, you cheap bastard. And and that's how it works. So that's what they have to do. Or you can go even go on Apple. No one has yet, but you can be our first subscriber on Apple. First subscriber on Apple Podcast gets a free Don't Believe the Hype mug.
Welcome.
You have to stay.
Oh, you've got the bulk on welcome.
You have to stay for. You have to if you first subscribe to our podcast to stay a subscriber for 3 months gets an Arctic Monkeys themed mug. Don't Believe the Hype one side, but something Arctic Monkeys based on the other side of the mug. That's
Okay.
That's a Nick and Dan promise, but you have to be as the first subscriber on our podcast, and you have to be with us for 3 months. I don't think it's
But
fair.
we'd prefer it if you subscribed on Spotify or Patreon. It's easy.
No, we wouldn't.
And you don't get
We pay to have the access to Apple Podcasts. No one fucking uses it.
Yeah, but they don't get the video on Apple Podcasts, do they? Probably a reason to do it.
Yeah, you get the nice. You just have to see us, which is probably more of an incentive, if anything.
Yeah. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
Yes. So check out the episode description. You can find links to that, and you can find links to everything else where you can give us a rating, give us a review. We've had some nice ones coming in, which we spoke about earlier on, and yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Should we?
Well, next week for the pre-show. Well, I was going to say next week for the pre-show. We're covering an Arctic Monkeys friend of the band, the Dutch's man in Manchester, Guy Garvey's band Elbow's latest release. What's white and hangs down Manchester cubicles? Guy Garvey's latest release. Audio Vertigo by Elbow will be the band we're reviewing next week, which Nick has promised us all the subscribers and me we're gonna hear influences from AM and Queens of the Stone Age.
I've not really spotted much Queens of the Stone Age yet. It's more AM for me. I think it's very AM. The
very
album
AM.
And the band, yeah.
Okay, that's a Nick Lee promise. We should find out next week.
I haven't doomed, aren't we?
Well, there's many a woman who's been left in tatters by a Nick Lee promise. But shall we listen to the song? You are a bit of a character. You are a man that wanders the land. A bit like a certain red right-handed man.
Bit like tonight's eponymous hero. I've always wanted to use the phrase eponymous hero in a podcast. It's the sort of thing you see.
Do you think he's a hero? I think he's more of a villain, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a hero in the sense that the episode bears his name.
Yeah. Beelzebub. So we play the...
Does the devil put aside for me?
He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. You're one microscopic cog in his catastrophic plan, designed and directed by his red right hand.
So that's from the Domino Records YouTube channel, the Arctic Monkeys YouTube channel. They put I think there was a live gig around that time that they put up, and that was part of it. I'm gonna early contender for a hot take, a jingleless hot take. I prefer that version to the recorded version. I think Jamie's guitar sounds better. I think the organ is higher up in the mix as well, and it's always good to see Jamie going for it as well. He was loving that.
Oh, I don't. I don't think that's anywhere near as good as the mixed version. There's not enough nuance in it. But I love the recorded version of this though. I think it sounds great. This is one of the more French
second guitar as well.
Ferocious recordings of of this. Yeah, that's what I was missing. The second guitar, those little things and stuff like that. But yeah, little jangly bits.
I think before we get onto the information, we should play a little clip of the original Nick Cave version just for reference. Do you think?
Okay. I just wondering whether would that reside in the information? Let me see if there's something that cues that up in my information.
I imagine somewhere in the information it'll say it was written and recorded by Nick Cave in 1994. One would expect.
Nah, I just kept it to. Actually, no, you can do it now if you want to do that. If you want now, because I've just kept it to Arctic Monkeys information about how they sort of came to do it.
As every woman in my life has said to me, that was a wasted 30 seconds.
He'll wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. He'll rekindle all those dreams it took you a lifetime to destroy. He'll reach deep into the hole, heal your shrinking soul. Hey, buddy, you know you never turn it back. He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. Well, they're whispering his name across this disappearing land, but hidden in his coat is a red right hand.
Yeah, good. Yeah, enjoyable. I do like that version. Yeah. It's a nice. It's got a nice feel to it, hasn't it? It's got a nice vibe to it. Like we said about Jewel's Hands last week, it's got a vibe to it. But yeah, baby. Yeah. By the way, on the Arctic Monkeys one, Alex looked particularly one of our. We talked about it in the pre-show, but one of our listeners and contributors to the show, Matthew Higgins, responded saying that him and his girlfriend always felt that 2009 Alex looked like Nancy from Stranger Things, which he particularly did. I noted in that video he did look very Nancy-esque from Stranger Things. Yeah. And then in 2016, Last Shadow Puppets Alex looks a lot like Steve from Stranger Things. So the transition there from Nancy to a Steve. Thankfully, never.
Do you think the Nancy thing is the fact that they both look like a baby bird? They both have a baby bird look when they were when he was younger. I think Alex did, and I think Nancy looks the same. She has a bit of a bird features, as I call her.
I was never a Nancy fan, really, if I'm being honest. I always thought Steve could do better. I didn't really see the other guy can have her. He's weird, but I thought she was.
He gets rewarded for being weird. I don't understand it.
But no, I was always more of a who's women. Oh, the mum, the main kid's mum. Yeah, she's in Mad Men as well. Yeah. The series when she's flirting with the good-looking chap as well.
Yeah, who's possessed.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about the women. This isn't a Sexy Women of Stranger Things podcast. I wish it was, but it's
no, that'll be next time.
Be over pretty quick, to be fair, because most of them are children, so it'll be over fairly quickly, or we'd be snatched from our homes by the authorities.
Can we have a quick shout out for Robin for Maya Hawk?
Oh yeah.
Arctic's fan, as well.
Arctic's
not in the show, obviously. That would make sense. The
80s shall we have some information on this song before we dig any deeper holes? No pun intended.
The information action ratio, ain't that the place to go?
Digging holes was both a pun and also a reference to Stranger Things in a way. So well done.
In a way, yeah. Let's go. Red Right Hand is 4 minutes and 19 seconds long and has 18.1 million streams on Spotify, which isn't bad for a cover. It is 140 beats per minute and is in the key of D minor. It's a D. It's in the Ds. The song has been played live 79 times by the band, which is mental considering the songs that haven't been played a lot in the catalogue. Firstly, on January 13th, 2009 at Wellington Town Hall, Wellington. And lastly, on April 22nd, 2010 at Foro Alterno, Zapopan, Mexico. What do you reckon? Home, Ford. For the home, a Ford, for the home, Ford.
Home.
I actually don't know. I couldn't find out. So I'm assuming home, though, if I'm being honest. If I'm going with my heart, I couldn't see it was left. The credits were left empty for some reason, but I would imagine, unless they just recorded it off their own back somewhere, but I would very much imagine that it was done in the Rancho de la Luna.
Yes.
Although maybe not,
Yeah, I
actually.
reckon so.
Yeah. So the song first premiered in early 2009 during their tour of Australia, then during their performance in the Reading. Is he from Australia, Nick Cave? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it premiered during the tour of Australia in 2009, then during the performance in Reading and Leeds festivals in August 2009. So I have heard this live.
Yes. It was second on the set list. It was there.
Yeah, a very interesting choice it was to have
Yeah,
the second. I mean, I enjoyed it, but and I just had my first pill though, and It reappeared in the Japanese version of Humbug, so the actual album Japanese version of it. This was a feature on. One notable difference between Nick Cave's version and the Monkees is the style of music. Cave's is obviously very slow and emotionally intense, but the Arctic Monkeys produce something which, although it is intense, has a very fast tempo. So there you go. Okay, but I have one memory of the original song that always stays with me, which is it was used in one of my favorite films as a child and as an adult probably as well.
We drove around all day and there's not a single job in this town. There is nothing, nada, zip.
Yeah, unless you want to work 40 hours a week. Here, I'm gonna go to the store.
Yeah. Okay, just get the bare essentials. This will last of our dough.
Hey, what do I look like?
Where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as a ship and crack. Where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you never can. Past the strait, past the bridge, past the mills, past the sea. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man.
Right!
Black coat with a red right hand.
Excuse me, little lady. Do you have change of $1?
Change? No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, well, could you do me a favor and watch my stuff here while I go break $1?
Of course.
Thanks. Hey, I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose. I'll be right back. Don't you go dying on me.
Where's the booze?
I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart. I didn't even see it coming. Oh.
Yeah, how much I love that film. Big part of that, you don't know it's when you're a kid that the newspaper you're trying to buy is called Rhode Island Slut.
Rhode Island Slut.
I've always got to pick out that fall when he comes through the door.
Yeah, I've done that pretty often in my life as well.
But I remember when they did this cover, I remember thinking, like, when I heard the original, I was thinking, I know that song from someone. It drove me mad for ages. And then I watched Dumb and Dumber again, and I was like, oh. But yes, the amount of times I've watched that film is ridiculous. I love it. That is, of course, I didn't say actually, it's from the Jeff Daniels, Jim Carrey vehicle, Dumb and Dumber. If you didn't know, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Check it out.
We should describe more films as a vehicle when they come up on air.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, I did. Really
yeah,
did.
can we have the car alarm?
God, we're just throwing convention out of the window today.
Well,
throwing convention out the window here on Nick Lee, Dan Holt
Bandit.
vehicle. Don't believe the hype.
Yep. So yes, so that was that. So by the way, I came across because obviously this song had been used in things like Peaky Blinders, stuff like that. And it reminded me that back in the day on the first album, I used to use a website to kind of look up if any of the songs had been used in certain TV shows and stuff, and I couldn't. I'd forgot about that, so I'm just recapping a couple that are on there when I came across it. No clips for any of them though. I couldn't find the right clips for any of them, but there are songs future series that maybe I will be able to find the clips for. But Only Ones Who Know was used in New Girl, interestingly enough. And Crying Lightning was used in Peaky Blinders, and Dangerous Animals was used in Peaky Blinders as well. So the guy, I mean, look, I don't like the show. I appreciate that people said to me before, but you'll love it. They use loads of Arctic Monkeys movie. The guy's a big fan. But from what I did see, a little tiny clip that wasn't worth me bringing to the table, it was like I think they were using like it was like Arabella or something at a scene, and I was like, it would be too jarring for me. I think I don't.
So
you're not going to use the music
well.
properly. Yeah, if you're not going to use the music properly, then don't use it. I don't know what. I'm not a big fan of, and then it's to sound really finicky, but and it sounds like something you'd say normally, but I'm not a big fan of like. I don't mind if the whole part of the film is they're trying to be subversive or something like The Favourite or something, but like when they use music that's outside of the time zone, you know, way after the time zone that the film's set. Like when they made that Marie Antoinette film and it had like all 90s music in it, and that. I mean, it kind of works.
God, yeah.
But I'm not like I'm not a huge fan of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I can't imagine hearing like Crying Lightning over Tommy Shelby like doing some business in a warehouse or something is going to really work. So I feel like he's just shoehorning.
That's how people try and get me on Peaky Blinders as well. They're like, oh, you'll love it. Arctic Monkeys are on there. It's like, oh, good. It'll be good to finally have somewhere to listen to Arctic Monkeys, won't it? Thanks. I needed that.
Also, the same cunts that love fucking Peaky Blinders, the same people that comment that Arctic Monkeys went shit after the first album, yet they're using Dangerous Animals on it. Yeah.
That was going to be my hot take at the end of the show, for fuck's sake.
Was it really?
Yeah.
We'll have a deeper discussion on that at the end of the show. But back to the information. So they were the ones that were outstanding, but hopefully I'll be able to find clips for future ones to come. And we got no gear for the episode because there just wasn't anything out there. Although when I was looking, I did see a Reddit post of someone going, I just found out that Red by Hand by Arctic Monkeys is a cover. Is it worth listening to the original?
In the time it took them to type that, they could have listened to the original.
Yeah. We live in a society where it's possible to do that. It's not like he has to order the vinyl and wait. Like,
yeah, exactly. I have to wait 3 weeks for it to be made and shipped.
Simple type on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere. But yeah, let's have some other reviews or a review.
Yes, let's do that.
The Financial Times, we've gone up market in today's episode. Yeah, the FT.
This was like 2008-9. There was a financial crash.
They're
around the corner. They're doing
started covering albums,
song reviews.
That was right. It always reminds me because they do have those pages, but everyone forgets. And I think it's Frankie Boyle's first stand-up gig, and he's got a going crowd, working the crowd like he does, taking the piss. And some guy goes, he goes, where do you work? And he goes, the FT. He goes, the FT. He goes, what are you doing at one of my shows? This is for scum.
yeah.
But yes, the FT said Arctic Monkeys took a different tack with a high-tempo, bass-driven version in 2009 that gallops along, though it lacks the sense of unease of the original. Yeah, that's what they said. That's what I thought as well. Yeah, I did disagree with it from the FT. I felt bad disagreeing with the FT, but
It's got the CD Carnival sound with the organ. That's very uneasy.
Yeah, that's very intense. I think the review of the other one we read that said it captures the same intensity, like really just in a different way, I would say. But that's it. It's not in the NME's greatest song list because it's a cover, rightfully so. Well done, NME. I checked and I was going to be annoyed if it was in there, but it wasn't. So, but I was prepared to be annoyed and I wasn't. But before we segue into the music, do you want to play one of your covers?
Yeah. What would you like? Would you like PJ Harvey, Anna Calvi, Iggy Pop and Jarvis Cocker, or would you like the surprise one?
I feel like the surprise one should be the last one, shouldn't it? Really.
Ah,
When
yeah,
I'm like
that's the
sick
right
of
answer.
hearing different people doing it, I'm like, well, I don't even want the last one now. And then you show it, and I go, oh my god, I'm so glad we waited. That's the reaction I'm hoping for. So we'll go. Should we go with PJ Harvey first then?
Let's do it.
DJ Harvey or PJ Harvey? Easy to get those
PJ
two
Harvey.
mixed up.
PJ.
Was it DJ Harvey? Was he that guy from?
Oh yes, yeah, I forgot
PJ
about
Harvey, like, do you remember that shit R&B or whatever?
Yeah, that was upsetting. No, his version wasn't on YouTube, unfortunately. PJ Harvey separated from Arctic Monkeys by 1 degree of separation, of course, because she's a collaborator of Josh Homme. So
yes, she's a big collaborator of Tom York from Radiohead. So she's in with all the musos, isn't she?
Yeah, because she's fucking cool. Let's have a listen.
Which one of her albums would come up?
Oh God! Oh, I wish they would.
Give me an excuse to listen to one.
I think she's got a new one out soon.
Wait, so does the TV show Peaky Blinders constantly use different covers of the opening title music that they use?
I think it does a Wire thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, you mean every series it changes to a different version of the song?
I'm not sure, but I know the song is also used during like pivotal scenes. So that's where some of the different covers have come from. I think. I'm not sure
about that. Like just using the same song but in different guises.
I mean, I already know how I feel
Is that
about.
bar still in town? I hate that bar.
No, because they got a cease and desist. They got taken to court, which was genuinely one of the best days of my life when I heard that, because I already hated the whole thing surrounding it at that point. There was loads of fan theories tied into the song as well. Like I remember after like 2 or 3 series, people saying,
right, okay.
"Oh, will we find out who the man with the red right hand is? Maybe it's Tommy Shelby." It's like, no, it's just a menacing song that they've chosen for the thing, as they found out at the end, because there was no resolution to that.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, no, you're right that's bollocks. But I think if there is going to be any ties, it'll be thematically. But we'll get into that when we get to the lyrics, and we'll briefly touch on them. But go on then, get me in with the PJ Harvey.
Come on, MC Harvey. Hey Dan, do you like listening to popular songs with questionable lyrics?
You know I bloody do. And Nick, do you like drinking copious amounts of alcohol?
Nah, do I ever? Actually a worry.
Well, if you're the same as us, then come listen to a weekly podcast, Liquor and Lyrics, where we take apart popular music's worst songwriting whilst drinking our favourite drinks, which kind of stay in theme with the song.
From Gin and Tonic to Grease Lightning.
Cosmopolitans with Chaz and Dave.
Blue Lagoons with Busted.
Sex on the Beach with Sex on Fire.
Shirley Temples with Shaggy.
And even a shandy with Sharon.
Dropping on Tuesday the 19th of September and every Tuesday after on your favourite podcast platform. I think what you will find is that these covers are all fairly different, which I think owes to the stripped back nature of the original. It means there's a lot that can be done with it, which I find really interesting.
Yeah, that was all right. Yeah, sort of atmospheric.
Yeah, I think that's my least favourite of the ones I'm going to play.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, Arctic's being my favourite. I'll say that now.
Yeah, I haven't heard the others yet, but I would imagine so. Do you prefer the Arctic's version to the original version? I know it's difficult to say that because people go.
I do,
but I think it's okay to say because we'd say it about like the Drake song, wouldn't we? So.
Yeah. No, I really do prefer the Arctic's version to the. I mean, I like the original. I knew it.
I do like the original, yeah, but
before
I do
this had come out, but I would go as far as to say this might be might end up being my favourite cover of theirs once all is said and done.
I was thinking about this today, and I think it's my. I was listening to it. We got a little when we started doing these like exercise cardio videos. Me and the wife. And I'm not married, but just like saying that. I said that. About 10 years ago, I wouldn't even be able to say that out of my mouth. I would have gone. But yeah, we started doing them. We got a little Radiohead / Arctic Monkeys podcast playlist on shuffle for that. By the way, it was a half an hour workout, and 6 of the songs that played were Arctic Monkeys. So I won the war today.
Win. Get in.
I win every day really because I probably like Radiohead more than she.
Yeah, you're all right either way.
So yeah, yeah, it's as it ended, the last song came on was Red Right Hand, and it was a good little end to the workout actually. But as I was getting in the shower, I thought afterwards, drenched in sweat, getting in the shower. Yeah. You don't want to know anymore. I thought, is this my favorite cover now? Because I do like it. And I thought I was going through and I was like, yep, better than that. But I still get stuck at Drake because I thought, well, this is the one that they've really made their own. Like this sounds like a completely different song and they've made it their own. But then they made the Drake song like sound exactly like a song off AM as well. So, and I've heard the original Drake song and it's shit. So the fact that like at least the Nick Cave song's good. Do you know what I mean? Like, but with the Drake song, they took a shit song. Like, I couldn't even believe the tempo of that song when I heard it in comparison, and they turned it into a really cool, sexy song, which you would think the original would be, with it being a sort of famous hip hop song. So they made a better hip hop version of that song than the original hip hop version, which is a huge song. So that blows my mind. So for that, it wins. But this is a very close second. This has got its red right hand up the arse of that, but it's not quite overtaken it.
Maybe that's why the right hand's red.
Go to a doctor if it is. Brown's fine, but red. So musically, I think the drums do a lot of this to make this work, don't they? Love the drums. If it is Josh Homme, fantastic production again. If it is James Ford, fantastic production again. But it does feel very Homme, doesn't it?
It has to be Homme. I'd be very surprised if it's James Ford, especially considering the majority of the album was produced by Josh as well. I'd say.
Yeah, Ford only stepped in. I wonder if we could know how many of the if any of the B-sides were done by Ford. Maybe I'll be able to see. This one didn't have any credits on it, but hopefully some of the others will. And then we'll be able to see where they recorded the B-sides. Who with? I imagine most of them will be Homme based off the sound of them. I can't think of any of them that I would lay it. Maybe Catapult, I suppose, but considering that's a spiritual partner to Julia's Hands, it would suggest it was recorded in the desert as well, wouldn't it? So, but yeah, maybe we'll get to that. I would love to hear Josh Homme talk about Sketchhead, but more on that coming. But yeah, the drums in this, they just changed the song completely, like from the original. That's kind of what the different factor is, really, isn't it? I mean, obviously there's the guitar and everything, but this is what raises the tempo, along with the basic guitar being very dirty. I wonder how, do you think they thought we're going to cover that? I wonder what the sort of process was to get it to where it was. Because sometimes they do covers that just sound like the song, don't they? So I wonder if that was just them messing about, or whether they were like, well, should we do a faster version of it? Or I wonder if they attempted the slow version first.
Yeah, they might well have done, the stripped back version. They might have done that and just thought, no.
And then Josh Homme walked in, pulling a fag and went, Elders, I think you know what to do. And he just went.
Tell them, Matthew. Knock it in, Matthew.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if it's just to get from there to there is pretty cool. Unless they were just, it could be one of those things just messing about, I guess. I mean, we've we were bands that did covers, and I guess you could say we made them our own. They were probably the only decent thing that we did. In the band review and another band, and we kind of, I guess, the process there was just to start covering it as it was, and then it sort of turns automatically into something more like our famous cover of "Let Me Entertain You" by Robbie Williams.
Still spoken about to this day.
Yeah, by us.
By us.
But there's one time I sang for a start. But just considering what the original sounds like, this is like the true. When somebody says like you take a song and make it your own, this is the true definition of doing that. You don't get that enough in covers. You don't get that enough.
If someone asked me to point out a cover where the band have made it their own, the artist have made it their own, it'd be this and "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, where it's almost indistinguishable from the original. That's genuinely how highly I consider it in terms of them putting a spin on it and making it their own. It's like that thing of when people who are like utterly who rightly think the UK Office is brilliant, and then they slag off the American one without watching it. And then you're like, well, it's not a remake. It's like the only thing they've got in common is that they're set in an office, and it does deteriorate. Yes, we know that and all that. But just see it as a different show, because it pretty much is. And it's the same with this. You wouldn't even think it's the same song.
I was one of those people. I didn't slag it off. I just didn't care because I just didn't care. But
I was for ages as well. Yeah.
I just but also I think it's on the first episode, which is just a carbon copy of the first episode of The Office, and it was crap. But luckily, again,
like a lot of American shows, you have to get past the first series before it starts to sink in. If you look at Parks and Rec, their first series, they were trying to make it like a copy of The Office. They were trying to make her like Michael Scott, and then the second series, it's different character, and they kind of fall into the right rhythm.
They had the benefit of Rashida Jones being there from day one, though, which is always enough to keep me watching. But I wouldn't. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's a. I don't know. I can't remember what your point was now. Before you got to The Office, I can't remember what your point was.
Essentially, just saying how they've fully taken it and made it their own. It's almost indistinguishable from the original.
Yeah, because 90% of covers that you hear are just like karaoke versions of the original, aren't they? Most of the time, you're just taking it and playing it in your band. But yeah, this is definitely different. I love the little lead guitar bits that were missing from that video. They sound strained. I love that guitar effect where they sound like the strain, like. Yeah, it's like trying to start a car. I love it. Yeah, I do love that. The organ's amazing. Presumably Alex, do you think? Or do you think it's John Ashton? Because there is two guitars, isn't there, on the recording? So
yeah. So I can't remember, but I think on the Reading version, does Alex have the second guitar?
Oh, I mean, on the actual recording, not I think live. It's up in the air, but on the recording, I think I don't know. It could be Alex, I guess, just doing it, couldn't it? It makes sense because it's very similar to the Pretty Visitor sound, isn't it? The organ. It's like almost the same effect, almost, I guess. The same setting on the organ, yeah. That's another thing that makes this different, because the original doesn't have that. So that's kind of, even though it's obviously using the same notes that song uses, it's a kind of an original addition to it. I wonder what Nick Cave thought of this, actually. It'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it?
I was looking for this and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, but I bet he doesn't probably comment on such things. I don't know, it's hard. Okay. Might be probably hard. He seems the type of guy that wouldn't like it because he, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't matter how good it was because it's his song and he wants it. Doesn't want it being touched or whatever. But
still blows my mind that he did a song with Kylie Minogue. That just genuinely baffles my head. That it's like, how did that,
Australian thing, innit? Australian, aren't they?
Must have been. It's like we're the two most famous.
Australians got to stick together, aren't they?
Natalie Imbruglia hadn't brought her first single out by that point, so he had to go for the lesser Australian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it fits so well with Humbug, this song as well. That's what's that if you to the point where like that, to be fair, on that Reddit post I didn't know, if you didn't know it was a cover, you would just think it was one of their songs on Humbug, wouldn't you?
Yeah. This couldn't have fit in any other era of the band. It's just
no.
Like, if you think about like Baby I'm Yours, you could kind of understand. There's points where that could fit, particularly later on, because it's a bit more of a slower kind of croonery song. But this
his
is
voice
just peak
aside,
Humbug.
Yeah, I think if this was an original song, it would have 100% made the album. If this was a song they'd have written, this would have made the album and been a single. But then it would have been a smash hit song because the Nick Cave version was a smash hit song. So, interesting though. You wonder if they brought this out as a single, if it was their song, would it have had the same impact culturally that Nick Cave's did? Because the way people sort of treat artists like Nick Cave a bit differently, I guess. Interesting to ponder, but ultimately pointless to ponder because it's not the universe that we're living in. Pretty Visitors-esque with the guitar and the organ, I think. Very sort of this feels like they were recording. They made this cover at the same time as they were doing Pretty Visitors. Perhaps this was going to be the B-side to the Pretty Visitors single that was going to come out, and then it didn't, did it? So in the end,
I think that would fit perfectly. Yeah,
because Oxfam said nah. Well, we don't know that, but I'm just assuming that's what happened.
That's canon as far as we're concerned. That is what happened.
It makes sense. But yeah. Then the drums come in. They take us back into the sort of similar first part with the organ. We get the little classic Monkey stops, don't we, as well? Kind of stops, drum hit, back in with the same riff. With the organ more prominent, they like doing that as well, bringing the organ in more prominently throughout this album, don't they? That's one of the humbug cornerstones. Is the organ coming in?
Oh, he went there.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Freeze frame. Yeah. Again, the drum fills in this feel very Pretty Visitors as well. These drums are very similar, I would say. On there, but we get a cool. This is probably one of the best bit. The cool, sexy little breakdown with the drums and the bass. I think the breakdown here is actually quite akin to the original in the way that they do this breakdown. A lot. It is. This is a point where you can feel this.
Yeah, cool vibe, downbeat vibe, but it's still got kind of the Helders is still like doing a bit of like.
We've not mentioned the bass line yet either. What I love that bass line.
Really good bass line. Yeah, and it's not even like the original's like would be like. I guess it would be like a kind of slow version of this, but this bass line's more in line with the drums that Helders puts in, isn't it? I suppose it's like a sort of
almost using the bass as an extra guitar in terms of the riff he's playing, I think, and the effects as well. Obviously, probably, well, that's why there was probably no information on the gear, because I'd imagine it's pretty much the same. It'll be the same as what they've already been using.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think I would be shocked if the riff didn't start with the bass, so it was like Helders drums and the bass, and then the guitar's just doing what the bass is doing on that. I would be surprised if it wasn't done that way around. It feels like a very bass drums creation, the way that the song turned out. I would imagine that's what they wanted to cover it, and I reckon Helders and O'Malley are pretty much responsible for what we got in the end, I would think. Then we get more stops, and they get a classic. This is a classic Monkeys moment when it does the kind of it does doont doont, and it's just like a clean one. It goes. They get that clean strum, the sort of dirty strums, and then one clean strum to when the breakdown is a very Arctic Monkeys thing to do. The clean strum. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing because considering this is a cover, it's quintessentially an Arctic Monkeys song. It's incredible, really. They just smash covers, don't they? But where in the past, I mean, I guess Good Love Machine was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? You Know I'm No Good sounded like the original, to be fair, because that song, because Amy Winehouse was a bit Arctic Monkeys anyway, I suppose. So, and then you've got I would love to see what Mark Ronson did with an Arctic's album, wouldn't you? But maybe it's too late for that. Maybe that was better back in the day, like, you know what I mean?
I think we've missed the time, but I think
if they had done AM2, if we had AM2, it would have been interesting to see if like Mark Ronson had done it. You know, I put trust in Mark Ronson. There's not a lot of things that Mark Ronson's done that I don't like, so I'll give him his dues there. And it's like I said the other week, I think I said on this that he's that person that I always feel like I should hate, but I don't.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he seems like an alright guy as well. Like, he doesn't seem like,
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance. I'd say there's a slight chance sometimes when I look at him. There's a ever so slight chance that at some point some stuff might come out, but we don't know that yet. So we won't.
Yeah,
he's got that look. Yeah. He's got that vibe about him. But then who hasn't these days? But they just smash covers, and I think I'd say this and Drake are the two most inventive covers. I think, unless I'm forgetting some, but I can't think of many others that do that. The Strokes
even
one's probably the worst.
Because they went through that phase during the Tranquility Tour in America, where they play. I think in New York they covered "Is This It" by the Strokes, and in Detroit they did "The Union Forever" by the White Stripes. But they were both essentially just the same song. It wasn't taking it and making it their own or anything. So yeah, this and Drake are the two that stand high above everything else for me.
Yeah, and it's a real shame that they didn't do like more like live lounge stuff during Tranquility and the car, really. So I wanted to hear like a Tranquility, them do like a modern sort of pop song or something in a Tranquility version would have been absolutely delightful about. But so I was really gutted about that.
Would you swap either the Maida Vale session or the Jules Holland special for another live lounge? I don't think I would. Yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, theoretically they could, but they didn't, did they?
No, but
we were so convinced we were going to do.
That's because it wasn't one or the
other.
Yeah. They could have definitely done a live lounge and the Jules Holland special, almost certainly. But
I wasn't saying they couldn't, but it was just a hypothetical thing. Like if you had to, if I told you to do a live lounge, but you had to take away that.
Can I hear the cover first before I decide? I can't just decide on without. If you play me the cover and I go, oh, that is a moment, then yes, I probably would swap it for that because I can hear them performing songs live all the time. But if it was like they did, I don't know what
Miley Cyrus cover.
Miley Cyrus, is that the best you could do?
I don't know.
Let's say it was.
I'm not up to date on new music.
Oh, if it was like a Billie Eilish cover from around that last year when the car came out, and they did a kind of car version of it.
Yeah, I could get on board with that.
I mean, I'd still give it of anything for the song "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish to have coming out during the AM tour and heard them. Smash that, wouldn't they? Yeah, almost certainly.
I'm gutted.
But yeah, I think there's probably a few songs that they could have smashed, but they didn't do it. They don't do it anymore. You do. Even though I love Tranquility in the Car, there's little things that they don't do anymore that aren't as fun. I suppose if I was to level any complaints at them, it would be that. But maybe it's just a scheduling thing. Maybe next album, the rock album, they'll 70s rock album end of the trilogy. They'll do a live launch and they'll pull out because to be fair, they didn't do a live launch for this, did they?
Maybe we'll get they did a session on Radio 1, but I think it was on Zane Lowe. But yeah, no cover or anything.
Oh, I did. No, it was the Zane Lowe session was on MTV2, wasn't it? I did like.
Well, there was a BBC, there was a Radio 1 one, but it mustn't have been Zane Lowe then.
I did like the KTB cover they do on the Suck It and See tour though. Yeah. Which,
cool.
by the way, I keep meaning to say this because I keep forgetting. But remember we did an episode on that? Or we did that in our covers episode, didn't we? And I said to you, there's that bit at the start where it starts with like Alex going like, that. If you go on the website that kind of says what songs different bands have sampled and covered and stuff, that KTB on a Mission is showing as a sample for a song. That little guitar bit at the start is showing as a sample.
It's Summertime Blues.
Song. Yeah, but I think does that really need to go down as an official sample, like them just doing that on the radio before KTB? Does that really need to be established?
Yeah, not really. Some people are over officious with these websites.
I just thought, really, what's the point there? But yes, would you? So I can't. Did we ask? We probably already asked this. Do we think it's better than the original? Yes, and you said you do. I feel a bit icky about saying stuff like that, but yeah.
But I very much prefer it to the original, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely, probably. We could be biased though, to be fair. But yeah. So do you want to do one of your other covers before we move on to the lyrics? Do you want to do your maybe hit me with the Iggy one, because we've had the female artist. I assume the next one's a female artist, so let's do Iggy and Jarvis.
Yes, we'll have Iggy Pop and Jarvis Cocker, aka the Radio 6 Music DJ supergroup. I assumed after this that there'd be one that's Kerris Matthews and Guy Garvey, but there isn't. So you have to make do with Iggy and Jarvis. I do like this one. Again, someone else who's Josh Homme adjacent.
Yes.
One step away. And, well, he's Arctic Monkeys adjacent because he's got Helders on his team as well.
Helders on his team.
There we go.
Yeah. Not his medical team, giving him a life, because they're doing a good job as well, but his band team.
They're doing a fucking fantastic job. last thing you want in that medical team is someone banging away on a set of drums. Jesus Christ.
Take a little walk to the edge of town, go across the tracks, where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fire, in the humming wires. Hey man, you know you're never coming back. Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. Gathering storm from the tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Red right hand.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
probably
cool.
my
Yeah,
second one.
surprisingly, how much Iggy's voice sounds like Nick Cave. I realised then when I heard that, I was like, "There's a similarity there, isn't there?" Yeah. Do you know much about? I was going to ask Nick Cave stuff. You know, I've never really done a dive into Nick Cave stuff. Really.
No, I listened to some when what was the band he had? The Bad Seeds, and they were one of their songs was on like a compilation album that I had, so I listened to them a bit.
It was a bit weird when they did 3 lines with Padilla and Skinner, but other than that, it was all right, I think. But
Lovely bit of business, that. Enjoyed that.
But no, yeah, I've never really done. It's one of them ones that I've always wanted to, but never like found. Maybe one of them will come up on our pre-show. That's what I'm hoping. Hoping all these things that I've never got round to will come up.
I think Nick Cave's exactly the type of artist who'd pop up on the random album generator.
He's probably got a lot of albums as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
He's pretty old now, isn't he? Gotta be in his like. I mean, if that was in the 90s, that clip that you played, he looked like he was in his 40s then. So he's got to be pushing late 60s now, 70s.
Bloody hell, he's 66.
Yep.
66. And
He looked like he was in his
terms
40s in that
of,
clip you played.
in terms of, well, that's weird because according to his Wikipedia, he only has one album that was released in 2021. But no, most of his albums are under the Bad Seeds. That's it. Yeah. That's really, really weird. I was like, why is he so celebrated? It says been going since 1973. Yeah, his one album was 2021. Get a move on, Nick.
So the lyrics on this. So obviously we're not going to deep dive in it, but I did get something just to read out, and then maybe we can have a brief chat on it. But the notion of a red right hand goes back to John Milton's Paradise Lost, which
I had this ready as well.
But it also plays the role of an undefined threat. There are discussions among scholars. Paradise Lost is a book, Nick, by the way. Whether it concerns the hand of, there are discussions among whether scholars are. Oh, sorry, a book is a written form of story that's on paper, usually binded.
There are discussions Paradise Lost, you shit house. Because I'm an intellectual.
You listen to the audiobook. There are discussions among scholars whether there are discussions among scholars whether it concerns the hand of Satan or the punishing hand of God himself. To back up the lyrics, the whole song has a threatening allure with the organ theme and Cave's deep, ominous voice. I guess the organ is kind of in that original version then, so we can't give the Monkeys too much credit for that. In verses 1 and 2, a tall, handsome stranger, a red right hand is used to personify an omnipresent danger. In verses 3 and 4, it is revealed what this danger actually is. It is the allure of material wealth which draws away your focus from more important things like self-respect. The tall, handsome man sustains this danger as a catastrophic plan in which you are a microscopic cog. In this way, the man represents consumer society, something which is very everyday, but in its essence, utterly scary and life-crushing. So it's interesting, actually, because I'd always assumed that this... I had never bothered to look this up, and it could be, or maybe he's just never said it, but my favorite book ever is a book by Stephen King called The Stand, which I won't get into the plot too much, so read it for people, but essentially, like, it's about the end of the world and God and the devil kind of battling and get out during that, for people's sort of allegiances. And there's a character that the devil sort of personifies as who's like a sort of man that roams around, sort of using different wants that people have in order to lure them into his sort of servitude.
Yeah,
so yes, you'd be perfect. But it's kind of like, so I'd always thought that this song was about, perhaps inspired by that book, because it's an old book from like this book, I think it was the 70s the book came out. So I'd always thought that maybe this song was written about a character, but then that character, the devil, is very... I'd always thought it was at least about the devil, because the red hand obviously links to the devil, and the devil in sort of popular culture is always someone that turns up who's quite alluring and offers you something that you want, and then tricks you into getting your soul, isn't it? So I'd always assumed it was like a sort of devil character in it.
Well, to further that notion, it's been claimed that the song is loosely based on the 1987 Tom Waits song "Way Down in the Hole," aka the theme to The Wire. Keep the devil way down in a hole. So that fits.
Yes. And to go back to your Peaky Blinders comment that you made, this is my big problem that a lot of people that for shows have, where they try and find plot. They try and find plot like theories in songs that the show uses and that, but the truth is that it's usually more sort of a metaphor or link to the sort of persona of the show. So the fact they use Red Right Hand is because it's about a guy who's dangerous, that is alluring, which is obviously the main... I mean, I've never watched in detail, but I would imagine...
And who is not the hero, can we just...
not the hero, yeah. Tommy Shelby. So I don't think the song was reading into where the plot was going to go. It was more just he is the Red Right Hand character. He is the evil man that's alluring, but is and I don't know a lot about the show, but I would imagine there's probably a lot in there about consumerism and money and wealth and people getting that there, which I would imagine. So I just think it links thematically to the song Peaky Blinders is why they use it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Not that it had some secret to how the show was going to end or whatever.
Correct.
But I think it's important to say, though, that there are a lot of similarities in these lyrics and Alex's work on this album and B-sides, I would say. I think it's an influence because he does a lot of characters in terms of like you could say Jules Hands. You could say a lot of the B-sides, more of the B-sides, I guess, are about these men that are alluring or perhaps slightly dangerous, Catapult. I think Sketchhead even, although more comically so. But I guess Sketchhead is more a sort of funny version of Red Right Hand in a way, because the way he does it. I just think the way Alex structures a lot of things on this album is similar to the song. I think he's inspired by the writing and the lyrics in this, I'd say.
And Nick Cave does seem like someone Alex would listen to, particularly in this era.
Yeah. And that's probably what led them to probably listen to this. Was probably on the playlist, wasn't it, while they were making the album? And it's probably how they ended up doing a cover of it. But it's I think he's doing a lot of, even if you swap it onto It Does Be Men, a lot of the song Crying Lightning, even, the way he lists certain traits that a person has is similar to this song. And on that, but on that point, in lieu of a John Kennedy clip, I prepared a point where Alex references his performance of this song directly. If you'd like to hear that.
Should I hit the jingle then?
For John Kennedy? Yeah, go on then. It's not John Kennedy, but why not, eh? Seeing as though John only does the album tracks. Yeah, there's too much to discuss.
Too much to discuss over a bucket of balls.
Concise and to the point, with songs to spare, as well. Red Right Hand as a cover that you've been doing as well. And, we've spoken about covers in the past. You guys have had a rich history of tackling interesting and fun things and doing, having fun with music outside of your own. And that's what it seems to me what covers are for you, is a chance to, because you're serious about your music, go, well, you know what, this is a challenge. And girls allowed. To see what we can pull off with that. But the Nick Cave one is like a very reverent reinterpretation, totally different, but you've done it in a serious way. You haven't approached it in a lighthearted way at all.
Where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back.
Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
I love playing it. I love that tune, and it's just, and there's so many words in it, and I want to get it. And the list parts of it, I always want to get them in the right order, because I feel like if he knew I got it wrong...
Oh, he'll beat you up.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
He'll tell you off. He won't even do it physically. He's not that kind of guy. He's much worse than that. This is how he looks at you when he doesn't like you, okay? But he's so talented, it's annoying.
When I do it wrong, I'm like...
Walk away
I'm
to
not
cover.
trying to do this.
Get back to Girls Aloud.
Yeah, they won't mind. Cheryl never...
That would be great if, you got that wrong.
You got that wrong. Cheryl picked me up on it. Cheryl's like...
Exactly. People keep doing covers of your songs, which is always a nice vote. It's a note of approval. Yeah, I think. Do you find it interesting to hear how people make your songs, what they make of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some interesting ones.
What's your favourite, Cookie? You got one?
What was that one when we couldn't play it for
When we had to turn it off.
Yeah, no, but then we couldn't play the song.
Play the song after it. Yeah, probably best to. I don't know what I don't know what the band are called, but
I can remember. I'm gonna.
What song was it?
It was Leave Before the Lights Come On.
Someone had a crack at that. Brave band.
And it was.
I don't know. We needed to rest it for a minute after.
It ruined it for you.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
I was wondering about that actually in terms of choosing the songs for the shows. Now, 3 albums is a watershed moment for bands. All of a sudden, you can be a bit choosy.
Oh, shout Gym Class Heroes! Gym Class Heroes. When I was watching it, I was like, Jamie, it's Gym Class Heroes. It's Gym Class Heroes. I love that. The fact that they couldn't play it again for a while because it was that put them off that much. I love Alex in that. I love Alex's little. He goes, "What? So you couldn't play it anymore?" And Alex goes, "Temporarily." Under his ref, temporarily. Like he didn't want to be too mean. He doesn't want to say the band. He doesn't want to be mean about it. He's lovely, isn't he? David don't give a shit. He'll say it. Yeah, I thought the Cheryl stuff's funny on there. So
I
but
always
yeah,
thought
that's
that'd be more of a Sarah Harding thing. I always imagine Sarah Harding would have a fruit machine in a living room.
yeah. Well, she stayed off the flag, shouldn't she? But I think the why'd you say it? Why'd you bring her up then? If you don't want me to say something that I don't want to say, why even bring her up then? But I can't help myself. The sort of getting the lyrics right. It's weird, isn't it? It's a weirdy one to remember this. I imagine it would be quite scary.
It really is.
You'd have to really know the song, wouldn't you? It'd be like us doing like Pretty Visitors and being like, right, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up. Yeah. Pretty Visitors is very similar lyrically to this, I guess, as well, with the way he speeds through sort of not descriptive things about one particular person, but descriptive things about a day or whatever, his tired day or whatever in there. Good old Zane. Good interview that. We'll do some more from those on the wrap up. Well, we'll just cover some general stuff. From the Zane show, because we don't have any JKs now until next series, because he only does the albums, doesn't he?
I know.
John Kennedy, JFK.
I don't know what shoots John Kennedy in the head.
The grassy knoll of XFM. But right, so as we go into the I need dog shit on that grassy knoll at XFM. Shall we go into? I don't think I've got any shipping forecast this week. I couldn't see anything new from the ladies. The good ladies. Did you want to play another before we do our favorite? I think it's worth doing our favorite lyric and favorite musical moments, probably. But shall we do one of your covers? Should we do Anna Calvi?
Yes, Anna Calvi. Someone who's
Who is that?
If you're not familiar with Anna, so she's a singer-songwriter. Someone who Bowie was a big fan of, apparently. He didn't quite get to the point of collaborating with her because he'd pretty much retired by then. Well, the retirement that he was in until he found out he was dying, and he's like, "I'm going to knock something out. This will fucking show him."
Well, what's good enough for Bowie? If it's good enough for the Bowie, it's good enough for the gander.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good enough for the dander.
Exactly. You don't live your life by many rules, but you just say, "Would Bowie do it?" And if the answer is yes, resounding yes.
WWBD. What would Bowie do?
Sounds like one of the radio stations they did a session on in America.
Apart from all the underage girls, obviously. So go on, should we play the Anna Calvi one then?
Let's talk about that. Let's play the Anna Calvi one. This is probably tied with Iggy and Jarvis as my second favourite version.
You don't have no money, he'll give you some. You don't have no car, he'll give you one. You don't have no self-respect, you feel like an insect. Well, don't you worry about it, 'cause here he comes through the ghettos and the barrow and the Bowery and the slums. The shadows cast wherever he stands, sticks the green paper in his red right hand.
That's probably my favourite version. After Arctic,
Great that.
The original. But yeah, that's probably of the three that you've played, that's my favourite actually. The start of it reminded me of Talks Like Thunder, Us Like Sin, that Bowie song, We Are the Sun, Pinochet, it's not the end of the world. That one. Yeah, so it's interesting that you said Bowie because it reminded me of it, yeah. But actually, impromptu here, but
You're gonna form a covers band and all.
Just popped in my head when I was listening to that. If you could pick an artist to cover this song that wasn't Arctic, who would you pick?
Mine's coming up later.
Well, that would be the one. No, but one that doesn't exist. I mean,
Yeah, but I didn't know this existed, and this would have been who I would have picked.
Trying to get imagination from a fucking
didn't know it
frog.
existed last night.
Shall we?
No,
I'd probably have
Snow-
Radiohead. I'd go with for me. Radiohead. I'd like to hear Radiohead do Red Right Hand. I think that'd be interesting.
I'd go either Bowie or Brian Ferry. I think they've got a bit of baritone going. But Brian Ferry's got a bit of baritone going on. He's got a bit of a croonery baritone thing that I think would fit. Ditto David Byrne
with
as
a
well.
high voice doing it though. That's what no one's done yet. You know, someone with like a high pitched voice, like Michael Jackson doing
Come on, Mika. Come back. We all loved Grace Kelly. Come back.
Yeah. No, yeah, Michael Jackson. Like, oh, wrap him in your arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. Actually, no. End it there. End that cover there.
Worst example ever.
Yeah, he will wrap you in his arms and tell you that you've been a good boy, and it will take you a lifetime to destroy the memory. Right. So, should we do our favorite lyric then on this one? You got one?
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
I think I probably actually would go with.
I don't know.
There's a few. It's a pretty strong lyrical song, and I like a lot of it. But a lot of it goes with the melody there that I like it. But if I was to pick out a lyric, I'd probably say, "He'll wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. He'll rekindle all the dreams it took you a lifetime to destroy." I love that. Yeah, I do like you've got no self-respect though. You've got, feeling like you feel like an insect.
Yeah, rhyming self-respect with insects. That is cool. They were both contenders for me, but I went with.
He's a man. He's a guru. Yeah, Arctic Monkey's version is the best. No.
It is. Well, you might change your mind about that when I play it out. I like. Well, don't you worry, buddy, because here it comes through the ghettos and the barrio and the Bowery and the slum. Big fan.
Where's a barrio?
It's basically the same thing as a ghetto and a slum and what have you, but it's region specific. I don't know if barrio is the Spanish version, possibly like favela.
Yeah,
in
maybe.
Brazil,
Yeah,
that thing.
Barrio sounds Spanish, doesn't it? Okay. Favorite musical moment then of the Arctic's version?
Bad sounds in your ear that make you get up and down.
I'm gonna go drums. I think
it's
it's
drums, bass, or organ for me. But then I love the little guitar licks as well.
It's an all rounder in it, but yeah, the organ's special because the organ. If the original has organ, then I'm gonna go. But obviously, I don't think it's similar organ, but yeah, it's got to be drums. But bass is close, I think. But it'd be nothing without the drums. I don't think so. It'd be nothing without the drums. Well, my hot take was. Is this the best cover? We've already kind of covered that. But then you had a hot take that we briefly touched on, didn't we? But I can't remember what it was now. That I said, and then you went, that was my hot take. Yeah. Gone.
It's gone.
We
covered it anyway.
You went, I have an impromptu hot take, and we said it, and then we went, we'll go into more detail on it later. But I guess we won't.
Need to. I think we went into detail then and sorted it.
All right. Well, do you want to do me the surprise then? Do me the surprise before I do the next week's intro.
Okay. So when I was looking through the various covers of this song, this cropped up, and I don't really have an opinion on it. I was just surprised to see this person doing it. Do you want to take a guess at who it is? One artist, world famous artist.
If I can have 3 questions, okay? Male or female?
You have 3 questions. Male.
And I'm going to assume then that it's solo artist. That's not a question, but if it's male, then solo artist.
Yes, solo artist. Yeah.
Male solo artist. Right. So the picture, I've got no clues there because that looks like a woman.
The picture won't help you because it's got clips from Peaky Blinders in the video.
Okay. So male solo artist. What generation? But this generation.
I'd say his peak would have been the 90s. I reckon. He's still going, still recording and touring
music today.
To this day.
Prevalent.
Yes, world famous. Yeah.
But mostly in the 90s.
The 90s was his peak. Yeah.
Okay, Robbie Williams.
No.
Okay.
Right, if I'd found Robbie Williams doing a song that Arctic Monkeys had done, I would not be bringing that to the table, man.
You're the one that nearly ruined an Arctic Monkey's album for me by saying that Alex now sings like Robbie Williams. So don't give me that. You nearly ruined an entire album for me. You did. You specifically said that you think that in Big Ideas and one other song on the car, he sings like all you do. You said it on this podcast, so we can go back and listen if you want. That you think that Alex's singing is just like Robbie Williams at his peak now, and you nearly ruined it for me.
I might have to look.
I was scared that someone else would say that to me that doesn't like them, and then I'll lose all credibility in my argument about them.
Well, email in if you find that, because I can't be asked going back through it just in case I did say
I'll find
that.
it. You did say it. I know you did.
Did you use all three of your questions?
I've been living in fear of like Vicky going, that sounds like Roy Williams, and then I'd have to never mention Arctic Monkeys again.
Well, it must have been just the ramblings of a madman, because it's not something that's ever come
usually
up
is, isn't it,
again
Nick?
when I've listened to that. Yeah, exactly. You cook out. One more guess at the artist then.
So solo artist, biggest in the 90s. They were solo in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, there was a bit of hesitation there, though.
They're known by they collaborated with lots of other people, but they're mainly known by their solo name. Yes. Well, they are known by the solo name. He is. I mean, we could genuinely do like a live stream of this for charity for like days on end. That's like the longest podcast ever, and you would not guess.
Do I like the music? Good normally.
I think you'll like some of their music. I think you'll like some of their songs. Some of his songs.
No, I can't think of it.
I don't know if you'd say you're a fan of him, but there's certainly, I'd say there's at least 3 or 4 of his songs that you like. I don't think it's someone where you're across the whole discography.
It's 90s. There's a lot of bands. You see, Beck. No. Okay.
Oh, I like that though. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't tell you, but the person is in the video, and for the audio listeners, it's a very distinctive voice. You'll know exactly who it is, and then we'll have a good old laugh about it after it's finished. Take it away, boys.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the tracks where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks. Where the secret lies in the border fires, in the humming wires. Yeah. Hey man, you know you're never coming back. I said you're never coming back. You know, you're never coming back. I said you're never coming back. So past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, now past the stacks. On another gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Say what? Did you hear what I said? In a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Red right. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Snoop Diddley Dog.
I never would have got that, no, because rap didn't even enter my mind on that. And to be honest, I don't even know if Snoop Dogg's most prevalent time was the 90s. Snoop could have been around from the 70s for all I know. I don't know. He's just sort of always been around, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just been by marijuana.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was dreadful.
Yeah. It was, wasn't it?
Oh, I actually thought it was going to be good. That's the sad thing. Oh my word. I love how I'm just seeing you getting rid of the clips as we go, like the anal Nazi that you are.
So I don't accidentally click on the wrong one, and then I don't come in. For the next episode and have to like clear them all out first.
Yeah. That was horrific. That was awful.
Genuinely terrible, wasn't it? Genuinely terrible.
Snoop
Dogg's tastes fascinate me. I'm genuinely fascinated by his tastes. So he's into Peaky Blinders. He's really into Game of Thrones. Which you would not expect.
Is he into Peaky Blinders, or was he just paid to do that?
No, I found interviews. Where he's and you know what other show he's really, really into? To the point that every time he comes and tours over here, there's an article with him in the newspaper begging to be in it.
It's not Coronation Street or something, is it like that?
His Coronation Street.
Yeah, I thought I'd read that. Yeah.
Blows my Stoners are weird, man.
Stoners. It's not that mind blowing because it's just what stoners do. I mean, you were watching 2013 Coronation Streets on a loop like 2 weeks ago, Nick. So I wouldn't throw stones at Snoop Dogg's house.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke anymore, does he? He's given up smoking now.
Has he?
Which is another thing that blows my mind about him. I'm worried he'll just die. I think it's like Amy Winehouse where she gave up booze and then just died.
I can't give details, but I knew someone that smoked weed from the age of about like 10 until they were like 45, and the doctor told them they had to stop. And within 2 weeks of them stopping, they were convinced that the wife was trying to poison them with food in the sandwiches in the lunchbox for work.
Brilliant.
I think at that point, don't stop.
Wasn't me. Well, Lemmy from Motorhead, he was like drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels a day from like the age of 14, 15, and had like stomach cramps, went to the doctor, and the doctor like said, right, I'm going to stop drinking. Then the doctor said, no, you can't. You literally cannot stop drinking. All right. Carry on then.
And he's still recording and producing music today. So,
well, no, he's not. He's dead.
But yeah, okay.
Tripped on one of his Jack Daniels bottles and smashed his head.
Of all the Snoop Dogg, of all the things, I never would have gone for Snoop Dogg. So there you go. There you go. A lot of covers of this song. Some good, some not so good.
Well, imagine when Snoop Dogg watches stuff like Peaky Blinders and Game of Thrones, he thinks it's actual history. That's like a history documentary to him.
Yeah. Well, Americans don't have any history, so they need to,
No, that's true. That'll be it. I got to take hours.
That was both more when I see Antiques Roadshow in America.
Oh yeah.
What antiques are they? What are the antiques? How far back does it go?
It's a fender from my Chevy. Brilliant, cheers, lads.
But yes,
it's a glass Coke bottle from the 50s.
Should we do an intro into next week's episode? We're off the covers. We're back on the main stuff, the proper stuff, the jet fuel,
which doesn't melt steel beams, as a lot of Americans will tell you, but they're swiftly recaptured, thankfully. Yes, this is a part of the show where Dan has enlisted the help of artificial intelligence to help write a description for the next episode.
You push the button and we'll do the rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and prepare yourselves for a journey into the whimsical world of Arctic Monkeys with their quirky tune, I Haven't Got My Strange. Picture this, you've just returned from fixing your hair only to find your significant other directing traffic. Now it's arguable that you shouldn't have been in there, but hey, it was fortunate timing. It's a predicament, isn't it? But fear not, for the whimsical world of the band, strange things happen, and sometimes you just haven't got your strange. But fret not, my friends. For as you listen to this delightful melody, remember that sometimes it's okay not to have your strange. After all, life's strange enough as it is. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the peculiar charm of the song. Who knows? Maybe you'll find your strange along the way. I think this was another case of Alex's lyrics flummoxing the AI there.
Yeah. It's just
kept saying the word strange, didn't it?
Star treatment is going to be the one where AI will just break AI.
No, I think AI will be in its element with the whole Tranquility album.
Do you think? Do you think this will finally...
Wait till AI gets into, like... Isn't there a song that directly references AI? No, there's not, is there, actually? But wait till it starts talking about technological advances and VR headsets and stuff. The AI will be like, oh, here we go.
Maybe this will be the point where AI like properly comes to life and we'll get bombed by a robot or something.
Wonder what it'll make on 2013. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wonder what the listeners will make of 2013. Never mind fucking AI. Jesus.
I love it.
I believe
like it.
You have... Yeah,
that's like my second coming in Shaun of the Dead with the vinyl. If we were getting rid of the vinyls, you'd go, because what is it? Is it the eye? Which one's it on? Is it on One for the Road or something? You'd be like, one for the one for the road with 2013 vinyl. I like it. I do. I love that song. A special place.
Yeah, it's alright, isn't it?
You hate it. Don't come
Very
on
much
now.
of its time.
You declared your hate, and you will stay on that hate. And loads of times. You don't remember anything that you say, do you?
You said it's.
Because I've always said I like it. You've always said it's crap, and I've said you always go, oh well. It's that.
Yeah, but it's crap in an endearing way, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? We'll get to it eventually. Yeah, exactly. Like every podcast that I do. Apart from looking at
Don't-
lyrics,
don't-
check it out.
don't
We heard the
do-
trailer before.
Do your outro, but don't go to the credits yet. We've got something to play
No,
us out
I'm
with.
just. I know. I was just about to say you've got something to play us out with.
Which might
Yes,
be
has-
fun. Might be fun, you know.
We'll see. Something one way to find out. This has been the 11th thrilling instalment of Series 3 of Don't Believe the Hype. Don't forget to check the episode description for all our links, etc., etc. Like, rate, review, share, all that stuff. Follow us on all good social networks and some rubbish ones as well. We will play you out with this. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. Music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.